Right off the bat, I just want to say that if you are not ready to take full responsibility for your life and your actions, this video is not going to be for you. This video is not made to convince anyone of any certain type of lifestyle being better than another. This is just my own experience, and I'd like to share it with you all. This is just basically what I've observed from going from being like some asshole college guy to being married at 25 and having a kid on the way. In this video, I really tried to boil things down to the fundamental principles of what led me here today. Some of the things that you can implement into your life and to become the best version of yourself and manifest what you truly want. You know, the first thing that I'll say is that getting married and starting a family is not about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person. You attract what you are. If you want a grounded, radiant, wise, loving, caring woman, you need to become exactly what attracts that. Because guess what? You're gonna have to be the support system for this beautiful manifestation of the feminine energy. The first important principle that you have to do if you truly want something in life is set the intention. It's funny because my wife and I actually did this simultaneously before we were together, when we were apart. We both set the intention that we were looking for something more, something true, something meaningful, something long lasting that's forever. A true unison of the beautiful masculine and feminine energies. I was at the end of first year in university, and I just set out that I was done with this fast life. You know, the partying, the constant alcohol, smoking pot, just the nonsense hookup culture, clubs, bars, all of that shit. I realized that it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve what I want in life. It's not giving me any meaning. It's actually making me feel really bad and terrible about myself. You know, so firstly, you gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta take a good look at your life and realize, you know, what the hell am I doing? And what the hell do I want? You also have to think about why you want this. You can't go into this for the wrong reasons, right? You also have to objectively ask yourself if you're ready for this, right? Like I said, you know, it's not about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person. It's a spiritual journey of self-improvement. You know, and in marriage is one of the most meaningful things that there is. It's truly a spiritual union, right? It's the alchemical transmutation of oneself, and then the forthcoming of the masculine and the feminine energy, and truly becoming one together. So like, if you're gonna take some vows, you better be dead serious that you are going to commit to them until the day that you die. The other thing that you're gonna have to realize is that you're gonna have to sacrifice some things. There's a lot that we can learn from the old Western outlaws in country music. You know, freedom is not a path that is so appealing once you live it. I think Chris Christopherson said, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That's not how I want to live my life, you know, so it takes sacrifice to make commitments, you know, but you need to choose your commitments, and you need to choose your so-called sacrifice. And when you choose to do so, when you set out and you realize that I'm committed and I want to make this commitment, especially to one person, you're going to have to sacrifice things, specifically some freedom. When you get to pick what type of freedom you want. You know, I feel free as they come. But again, it's like when you choose something so beautiful like the marriage, right? The marriage of the masculine and the feminine, and the concept of starting a family and imparting who you are and moving that bloodline forward. You know, there's so much freedom that comes with that, right? And it's about choosing the freedom that you want and choosing the sacrifice that you want to make. It's choosing your commitments, because then it doesn't feel like sacrifice. If you're sacrificing things for the wrong reasons, like because of an ultimatum, because someone's telling you that you need to do this, it's just not going to work out, right? It needs to come from your soul. It needs to come from your own reflections. So like, if you want, you know, a caring, loving, homesteading, sourdough bacon wife, you better get out of the bars, out of the clubs. You got to stop smoking pot, stop drinking as much as you are, going out with the boys. You should spend time with your boys, but it's a different mentality, right? It's a totally different mentality. Being around men is a really good thing for men, and being around women is a great thing for women. But you know, when you're doing it in the wrong way, right? It's a totally different mindset. There's a different intention there. I've realized that any sort of substance use is some sort of coping mechanism. We may not like to admit it, but I've been through the ringer with pot especially, and you know, you're always hiding or running from something. And you know, when the old outlaws, they were doing the same thing, right, with their so-called freedom, right? It was lonely. It was always lonely. There was nothing there. there was nothing to come home to, right? There wasn't an end to the road either. There was no place you were going, right? You were just following that long white line. And especially like if you're going out and you're rambling around at the bars and the clubs doing the one night stands, like, I don't know, there are these influencers now, like the Tate mentality people who are like, oh, get all the women, you know, it's respect, men will respect you, and you know, women value that or whatever. I guarantee that your future wife will not value that. You know, first of all, it's easy. It's cowardly, honestly, going and preying on drunk girls, going to a bar. It's cowardly. It's disgusting, to be truthful with you. Honesty is the true way to go about it, right? If you are exploring and you know you happen to cross paths with a feminine energy, you need to be honest, right? So lying, getting drunk at a club and hooking up is cowardly. There's a lot that we need to unlearn that comes with marriage too. Like whenever you watch a movie or a TV show, the husband's always googly-eyed over the young hot wife next door. You know, it's in every single movie, every single TV show. Infidelity, breaking the commitments, the vows that you made on your marriage day. You know, there is no real understanding of what marriage is, of what creation of a family, of imparting wisdom on becoming the best version of yourself to commit to your future family. There's none of this in the media, in what we're taught in schools or whatever. So we have to unlearn, you know, these bad ways of thinking about starting a family and getting into a relationship and getting married, right? So it seems like a challenge, but this is just because of the pop culture, what's normalized in the modern world, right? Because reality, when a divine masculine meets a divine feminine and you guys are on the same trajectory, the same path, it's the most perfect concoction out there. Nothing is easier than this in life. Truly nothing is easier. You need to unlearn all the bullshit that we're told on TV, social media, what the celebrities purport. It's all nonsense. It's all lies of what marriage is, right? Marriage is none of that. Marriage isn't even what we're taught about what the 50s was like. You know, it's none of that. You know, divorce is so normalized because we don't go about marriage and this beautiful union in the right way. Okay, another fundamental principle is detaching from the outcome. You know, you can't be obsessed with trying to find a partner, that you become like some incel and, you know, you're like some hopeless romantic. You know, you have to detach from the outcome, right? That is not what it's about. You're not looking for something to complete you. You are whole as yourself. You need to become master over your own domain. You know, your energy is sacred. You need to become the best, absolute best version of yourself. You know, and this divine union happens when two whole beings come together to make a more pure version of wholeness, of a oneness. Like, you have to have some faith, right? Faith is so important when it comes to this process. Being obsessed with looking and searching and trying to find this or that is a surefire way to never get it. Honestly, it's an indication that you probably need to do some inner work. You need to become more confident in yourself, build your self-esteem, which kind of ties into our next point here, becoming the best version of yourself, right? This fundamental principle is the most important thing that you can do in your life. It's the one goal that we should all aim for, to become the best version, the best manifestation of ourselves. Everyone walks a different journey. No two people's paths are the same. But you need to become the best version of yourself. You need to master your own domain. I said it at the start of the video, and I'm going to say it again, you attract what you are. If you are waiting for the right person to become the best version of yourself, you failed. You'll never, ever get what you truly desire. You know, if you say, oh, I'm going to be the best person, I'm going to stop drinking and stop going out when I find the right girl. You've lost, you failed. You know, you're done. Forget about it. If you want to truly have love, if you want to love someone else, you need to learn how to love yourself, right? You need to build up, you know, the self-intimacy. You need to build this up. You know, immaturity is the true cause of conflict in relationships. Immaturity is what leads to divorce. You're combating immaturity when you become the best version of yourself, mentally, spiritually, physically, in every single way. You become a better partner, a better parent. You know, I tried to become the best version of a father figure before I had a kid on the way. I'm still working on it to this day, and I'll never stop becoming the best version of a dad that I can be. That is my number one thing that I'm focusing on right now. But again, it's holistic. I'm still trying to become the best version of myself. So these pillars of self-intimacy, as I mentioned, I learned these from C.S. Joseph. He's great. Go check him out. You know, you need to take care of your needs, right? You need to take care of your health, your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. No one else will do it for you. You need to take responsibility for it, right? No one else is going to take care of your needs. Secondly, you need to set standards for yourself. These are rules for yourself, right? Internal boundaries, right? Internal rules that you need to abide by. And this is how you build up the self-esteem. When you set rules for yourself and you smash these every single day, you're disciplined, right? This is building discipline. You want to work out or move your body every single day, and you tell yourself, I'm going to do this every single day, and you do it every second day, you're lying to yourself. You know, you're breaking down that esteem. You're not building yourself up. Standards are self-governance. It's how you protect yourself. You are the master and the slave. You know, you are the government and we the people. You are the boss and the worker. You want to be a benevolent boss. You want to be a forgiving boss. There's no doubt about it. And you should be forgiving. You should be able to miss a movement session, right? But you want to be a hard worker. You want to show up every single day. You know, you want to serve to the best of your capabilities. Next, you have to build up your boundaries, right? This is rules kind of for other people, right? It's standards for other people. You cannot let people cross your boundaries. Again, this comes with building self-esteem. It becomes with building this self-respect. You know, are you letting people walk all over you? Friends, families, you know, social interactions, strangers on the street, you cannot let people cross your boundaries. Finally, once you have all this, you set goals. Where do you want to go? Set yourself a trajectory. You know, shoot high, aim high, and achieve. You can't know what you want until you met your needs, until you have standards, until you've built that self-esteem and built yourself up, until you become a great boss and an even harder worker. You know, mature people set goals. Self-intimate people set goals. Once you've mastered your domain, that's when you can set goals. But you need to take care of the basics. You need to take care of the foundations first. And this should be extremely clear before you enter a relationship. If you're entering a relationship without being in the goal-setting stage of this, it's going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road. You need to be on the same trajectory as your partner, right? If you guys aren't on the same trajectory, you guys don't need to be in the same place, but you need to be on the same trajectory. That's a fundamental, the most important thing. And you need to realize that this journey of self-improvement never ends. You know, things come up in life, in relationships, you know, finance, struggle. You need to overcome this. And it's part of becoming the best version of yourself. Are you going to let the stress and fear take over? Are you going to remain cool, calm, and collected? Are you going to hear your partner out? Are you going to let them influence you? Are you going to let them, you know, help you as much as you help them? Are you going to help them? Are you even going to try to help them? Are you going to care about them? Are you going to support them? Are they going to support you? Right? So you need two people to be on this path, this journey of becoming the best version of themselves. This is what leads to the absolute best marriage, the best unisons of a beautiful masculine and feminine energy. You know, so when you find that right person, you need to do hard shit together. You need to spend time doing nothing together. Do easy shit together. You know, being that good boss is taking that time off and letting that worker take that time off to, you know, reset, enjoy. You know, we got to enjoy a little bit of this stuff too. I'm out here chilling. I'm looking at a waterfall in front of me. I got the dog running around. You know, this is what life's about. The sun's out. It's been snowing, but like it's absolutely stunning, as you can see here behind me. Like, this is the most beautiful stuff. You got to get out. You got to enjoy it. Enjoyment and joy is so much different than pleasure. This is not about scrolling and playing video games and getting those quick dopamine hits. That's pleasure. That's nonsense. I don't want anything to do with that, but I want pure joy. Joy is when you spend your time doing something and afterwards you don't regret it. When it's pleasure, you finish scrolling, you regret it. You feel like a failure, you feel low self-esteem. You know, that's pleasure. You need to cut that out of your life. You need to get to know your partner. And to get to know anyone else in this world, you need to get to know yourself. Knowing thyself is one of the most important things that you can do. Know thyself before knowing others. And self-observation is the key to all of self-improvement. You need to observe yourself. You need to become a little more mindful. Right? Self-assessment. These are the foundations that I found to be the most helpful on my journey. If you're interested in implementing any of this, go check out the Beyond Terrain community, a place where a bunch of like-minded individuals are going to come together, work on implementing these strategies. Family and community are the most important values in my life. And I want to share an online community with similar people. So go check that out. Would love if you join. Would love to see you over there. But I appreciate your time. Make sure you like, comment, share this video with a friend, especially one who needs to wake the hell up, give their head a shake, realize what the hell are they doing. You need to live the life that you want to live before you have it. If you want to retire and be free, you want to be financially free, you need to live a free life. If you want to be married and have a family, you need to live that life before you even have it. Don't wait for the outcome to live the life you want to live. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys for listening. Take care.